Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg. Today I want to talk about my participation in the 24 Banned Books in 24. This is an event created by MJ at Reading This Life. This is where BookTube content creators, or even just participants in watching the videos, are encouraged to read 24 books that have been banned in the year 24, because book banning is running amok in the United States. I don't think it's really an issue outside the United States. Well, at least in free Western countries, it's not an issue. It's only an issue here. But let's start off a little bit with some housekeeping. The hashtag is 24BB. You will find some other content under that hashtag. You will see some content about the TV show Big Brother, and you will see content about basketball. But as MJ said, we're trying to take over this hashtag and make it about 24 banned books in 24. So another thing I want to do is discuss what is a banned book. I remember watching a video that came up in my feed. There was a young woman, and I'm saying young, she's probably mid-20s, late 20s, somewhere around there. And she was standing in front of a bookstore. And the bookstore had a poster that said, "We sell banned books." And this young woman was really rather smiling and says, "Well, if they're banned, they can't be banned if you can buy them. What banned books are just books with inappropriate content for some readers that people want restricted." She's an idiot to the first degree, but I guess her point should be addressed just a little about how you define banned books. And you can go all over the internet and you can find a number of different definitions. But the one I want to go with today, I found off pen.org, who has a lot of good material on banned books. And let me just read you their rather sort of legalistic, sort of rather dull description of what is a ban. PEN America defines a school book ban as any action taken against a book based on its content and as a result of parent or community challenges, administrative decisions, or in response to direct or threatened actions by lawmakers or other government officials that leads to a previously accessible book being either completely removed from availability to students, or where access to the book is restricted or diminished. Diminished access is a form of censorship and has educational implications that extend beyond a title's removal. Essentially, that's just saying is if you remove a book from a school library, you are basically denying students access to that book. Because, yes, it's true, that book may be for sale at a bookstore, but not all students have money to pay for those books, which is why all books, well, pretty much all books, should be available in libraries when there's funding available. And also, at pen.org, you're going to find a list of 700 books banned by Orange County, Florida. I find this list truly horrifying about the books that they have banned. But it's also fabulous because it gives me a lot of choices of books to read when I want to read my 24 banned books in 24. Because there's a lot of darn good books on that list that I don't think should ever be banned. Well, anyway, what are my first two books that I have read that are considered a ban? Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, the classic science fiction novel about a dystopian future where firemen do not put out fires, they burn books. Looking this up, I actually find that it's not as banned as often as some people might think it is banned, but it has been banned before in the past. And as I said, it's really rather ironic that people are banning a book that's about book bans or book burnings. And one of the main reasons why is some of the language. I'm going over my notes here. Is attempts throughout the years, primary for vulgarity and discussions about drug use. I don't remember a whole lot of vulgarity in this book, and I read it in January. However, considering what they consider bans, there are some censored words, what they consider swear words, and I would not consider them swear words. There is a special edition, or there used to be a special edition called the Ball High Edition, where the swear words like drunk man was changed to sick man. I don't consider drunk man much of a swear word. And I won't go into real swear words because I'm being kind to the BookTube algorithm. I don't want them to give me a hit on that. Now, here's a really interesting one about why it was banned, or attempted to be banned, in Texas in 2006. And yet, Texas banning books, no big surprise. The novel was challenged in Texas for going against religious beliefs, because in this book, the Bible was burned and banned. The thing is, the people, the characters, actually wanted to keep the Bible, even if they weren't necessarily religious. They thought it was an important literary text. I kind of agree with that, but so they wanted it banned because the Bible was burned. Well, they're burning all books in there. So there we go. That's why Fahrenheit 451 has been banned. Naughty words, which aren't that naughty, and some religious burnings, some burnings of religious books. Definitely not what I would consider a valid reason to ban Fahrenheit 451. And if you haven't read this, please do yourself a favor. This is an absolute fantastic book. This is one of the top 10 science fiction books ever written, in my opinion. I almost forgot to talk about the Missouri Republican candidate for Secretary of State. Her name is Valencia Gomez, and she put out what is considered a viral video. It shows her standing with a flamethrower, torching library books about LGBTQ subjects. She promises, if elected, that she will burn more books. This is not a drill. This is a real woman with a real agenda who actually burned library books because she disagreed with the LGBTQ subject matter. Vote her in, and my guess is she will definitely try to burn more books with a flamethrower. This country is really going off the rails. Second book that I read for this challenge is one which is really kind of challenging for me because it's not a book that I would normally read, but it is Tricks by, what was her name? Ellen Hopkins. This is a young adult novel, which is really stretching it for me because I don't like to read young adult books. But this is a book about 5 troubled teenagers. There are 3 women and 2 men. And for a number of reasons, all of them are forced basically into prostitution or some sort of other sexual service, which they do not really want to engage in. And that's why it's banned, because there is, like they said right here, let me look at my notes. There's underage sex, gambling, drugs, and alcohol, complete with first-person explicit description of each sin's highs and lows. Bad words abound. Girls do the nasty. And worse, there's even homosexuality. Oh, young adult book. Teens know they're gay. All right. Sorry if I'm being a little facetious there, but it's why it gets banned, because parents get really upset about that. Now, my issue again was if I were to complain about the book, I would almost go at it at the other end, that these teens are engaging in sexual activity, and yes, normal, healthy, happy teens can enjoy sexual activity. I know. But in this book, they all get punished for their sexual activity. And I kind of have a beef against that. Um, at least in these stories, they're all punished. And why not have one story where a teen just has normal sex like a normal teen and gets over it, whatever. But in this book, they're all punished. So that's my big issue, is that it's kind of moralistic in a way. And I'm not really a moralistic person. Now, that is why it's banned. As a novel, this really did not work for me because it's young adult. Even though it has, gambling, drug use, and sex, it's not good for a middle-aged man who's pushing 60 to read. It's just not an exciting story. I don't really get into the teen lives. There are points in this book where teenage girls are talking about how much they love their boyfriend and how it's going to be an everlasting internal love. And should I give my virginity to you, my great boyfriend? And parts of that was, kind of making me snicker at times because it was just over the top. Now, maybe that truly is how teenage girls think. I'm not really that familiar, so I don't know. So as a novel, it really did not work for me. However, I think it is important that I read this book. And I read it to get on top of why people are banning all these books for teens. And yes, I can understand too much sex. And these people, like the moms of liberty, they really hate the idea of teens having sex. And that's why they want this book banned. Also, this book is written in poetry, kind of, free verse. I think that's kind of weird. I noticed it because I actually read this as an audiobook. And I only got the actual hardcover to come out after I finished the audiobook. Just take a look at it and get a better idea what the book was like. So this book is like 600 pages long, but really it's like maybe a 300-page book if you were to flatten out the open verse prose, open verse poetry into prose. So that's what I think of Tricks. Not a great book for an adult, but I could really see how a teenager could be truly moved by this book and maybe provide value for that teenager. So should it be banned? Absolutely not. Even though, like I said, bad words, gambling, drug use, sex, all the stuff that make a book good is in here, even though it's really shown in the end in a bad light. Well, anyway, thank you for paying attention. I would like everyone who has watched this to read at least one banned book this year. It doesn't have to be 24 banned books in 24. I know that's a lot for some readers, but true. Pick up a banned book. Go to pen.org and look up those 700 books that were banned by Orange County, Florida. I am sure you will find one book that you will absolutely love to read. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading.